everybody. Thanks a million for joining me here today. So my name is Michelle Loughlin and I'm a registered dietitian. Today we're going to have a look at some recipes that hopefully after today will give you a little bit of inspiration for eating for energy. So we have a full recipe book. It's going to be uploaded after today's demo. So if you do want to try any of the recipes, they're very easy to get your hands on. Okay, so we're going to talk about eating for energy. Why is that? So over the past 4 months, let's admit it's been a mad couple of months, I've been doing one-to-one consultations for Leia Healthcare clients, as well as lots and lots of other people who want to improve their nutrition during this time. And the same things are coming up over and over and over again. Many people are turning to kind of convenience foods when they're feeling a little bit stressed, or else maybe they don't have time to prepare food, so they're going for very much convenience foods. Now, of course, that's absolutely fine if you're doing that for a couple of weeks. I mean, we've all been there. No one can eat perfectly until the day they die. However, if we're going a couple of months eating convenience foods, foods high in sugar, foods devoid of nutrients, what's going to happen to you? Nutritional deficiency, low energy levels, poor digestion. So actually, I suppose before lockdown, many of the people I would have been helping with their nutrition would have been coming to me for weight concerns. However, now I'm starting to see a huge change. People are coming to me with low energy levels, just feeling completely fatigued, emotional eating getting out of hand, so turning to food at times of stress. And we know that it has definitely been a stressful couple of months, but we're going to turn it around today, and hopefully I'm going to inspire you to kind of make a few tweaks to your current intake so that you start to boost your energy, that your mental health improves, your digestion improves. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't look like things are going to turn around overnight. It may take a couple of weeks for things to get back to normal. So it's really, really important that you prioritize your nutrition over the next coming months. Not only as we come into, obviously, winter, and obviously poor immunity can be a place. We want to get the nutrients we need for good immunity or to boost our immunity. But we also want to give ourselves that helping hand of keeping our mood stable, keeping our energy stable, so we're more able to cope in these demanding times. So like I said, I'm not going to be asking you to aim for perfection. Perfection doesn't exist. But with a few small tweaks, you will reap the benefits. So I'm going to move these out of the way. Give me 2 seconds. And what we're going to start with is an alternative for juice in the morning. So I'm not demonizing juice, absolutely. It's definitely has its place. But what I want you to do is with your products in the morning, just take a look at the nutritional value on the back, okay? So when we consume foods that are high in sugar, what can happen is it spikes our blood sugar level. Now up here we feel amazing, full of energy, high as a kite, but what goes up must come down and then we crash. So I'm not sure about you, but if you've ever had a high sugar drink in the morning, about 30 minutes later, you're like, oh, I could murder a biscuit or two. So the reason being, you can see here, there's 11 grams of sugar in 100 milliliters. Now, nobody drinks 100 ml, let's be honest. We're looking at more 250 or 200 ml. That would be the standard. So you could be taking in around 25 or 26 grams of sugar. Now, a sugar cube is around 4 grams. So you're taking in maybe 6-7 sugar cubes in that morning drink. Now, if that doesn't sound like a lot, think about your morning tea or your morning coffee. Would you add 5 or 6 cubes of sugar into that? Well, some of you might, but most of you will be saying absolutely not. So again, that's why we get that lovely sugar kick in the morning from juice. The next thing I'm looking at is the fiber, which isn't mentioned on this. So that tells you it's not there in plentiful amounts. And fiber is what bulks up our stomach, so makes us feel full, so that we're not going, oh, you know, I've just eaten something, but I'm really hungry still, and we're looking for more snacks a couple of hours later. So we're looking for foods low in sugar, high in fiber. So we're going to say goodbye to orange juice for now. So what we're going to talk about to start off is an energy boosting smoothie. Before I start, I just want to mention that the ingredients I'm using today won't be for everyone, and that's absolutely fine. Just take the theory of what I'm talking about and the concept of it. So if, for instance, you don't like blueberries or avocado, which I'll be using today, that's fine. You don't need to eat anything you don't enjoy, but just make sure to take the theory of it and swap in different ingredients that you do enjoy, so you will actually drink it. So actually that's a key point as well, which I've come across a lot in the one-to-one sessions that I've been doing, seeing 60 to 70 people per week. So it's amazing how the same issues come up time and time again for people. There's a huge kind of idea out there that we should be eating certain foods and that we should avoid bad foods. And to be honest with you, this is all made up by the $1 million diet industry, which wants you to maintain on a on a diet, off a diet, on a diet, off a diet. But the actual research has found that the closer you stay to your preferred eating habits, the more likely you are to be successful long term. So there is absolutely no point trying to eat in a way that you do not enjoy. You should be waking up like really looking forward to your breakfast, really looking forward to your lunch, really looking forward to your dinner. Okay, so usually when we're putting a smoothie together, it's kind of like fruit, and fill it up with orange juice. So not that there's anything wrong with fruit. Fruit is definitely not bad for you. However, it is a source of simple release or like easy to break down sugars. So it does give you that energy spike, especially if you have 4 or 5 portions in one container, okay? So we're not going to do that today. We're going to start off with some spinach. So again, spinach is really bulky, high in fiber, so it's going to not only slow down it's going to slow down the release of the sugars from the fruit, but also because it's high in fiber, it's going to take up a lot of space in your stomach, so you're going to feel very, very full. So I know a few of you might be thinking, spinach, that's disgusting, but honestly, you really don't taste it. So we're just going to fill it up about 1/3 of the way, or you can put in more. And a really good tip is fruits and vegetables tend to be the first thing that's missing in someone's diet. So if you can have them washed and chopped already in the fridge, that means when you wake up half asleep in the morning, everything's good to go, and you don't have to think about, chopping and preparing for a few minutes in the morning. And everything I did today took me about 10 minutes to prepare this morning, so it's really not a big job. All right, so the next thing we're going to add in is an avocado. So for those of you who aren't used to using avocado, what we want to do is just give it a little press. It should feel like the kind of soft part just under your thumb, and that means it's ready to eat. So it's ripe enough and it's going to be easy to remove from the skin. So what we want to do, now I've already done it to save a bit of time, but just cut around the avocado, and when we twist it, you're left with 2 parts. Of course, you can use the 2 parts, but there's about 250 calories in an avocado. So if your weight has increased a little bit over the last couple of months, you might want to stick with half. But if you are trying to gain weight, you might stick with 2. So an avocado, the reason I'm using it today is it's a really good source of healthy fats. And when we add it to smoothies, it gives it a really nice creamy taste. An alternative you could use is banana slices that have been put in the freezer and frozen. They also give a really nice creamy consistency. Next up, we are going to use apple slices. So again, just getting an apple and having it already sliced. You can put some lemon drops over it if you don't want it to go brown. And today I'm using a combination of fresh and frozen fruit on purpose. So many people think fresh is best and we have to go with fresh fruit all the time. But what happens? After a couple of days, you go down to get your lovely berries and they're covered in mold. So then this can be very off-putting when it comes to eating fresh food, because you're like, oh, so expensive. So don't be afraid to use frozen fruit. I would always say kind of have a mix of 2. You want some fresh fruit in the house that you can grab and eat on the go, and you also want some frozen fruit that you can just leave there, and also it tastes way better when you have frozen fruit. So I don't know about you, but anything that's got a little bit like of a chill, I much prefer. All right, so next up we are going to add some yogurt. Now in the recipe it does say blueberry natural yogurt. The reality is just use what you like best. But we are trying to go for one that this is 4 grams of sugar per 100 grams. So anything less than 5 grams of sugar per 100 grams would be get the go ahead. So it's not going to give you that energy spike. Now, what can happen with a lot of yogurts is, particularly light or diet yogurts, they take out the fat, but then it has no flavour. So then they load it with sugar. And if you're trying to boost your energy levels, that's the complete opposite of what you're looking for. So try to keep an eye on your yogurts. They are sometimes a source of hidden sugars. Now, next up, we're going to put in some lemon. So again, I already just had this chopped. You can even just buy the pre-prepared lemon. So it already comes kind of in a little container. You just give it a squeeze, or you can use fresh, whatever you prefer. Okay. Now, a few little pips have snuck in there. So you just want to make sure that you're taking them out. Otherwise, you're definitely not going to enjoy your smoothie. Okay, so we've just got 1 or 2 there, and we're going to take them out. Now, next up, I'm just going to add a small bit of vanilla essence. The reason being is that I'm just going to use a tiny bit, and it gives it a really sweet flavour. Now, I have a massive sweet tooth, so I would always add things that have sweet flavour, because then it means I'm not reaching for biscuits. But for you, you mightn't like the sweet flavour, so just bear that in mind. Now, and next thing, we're just going to put in a little bit of honey. So within this smoothie, you've now got a source of fibre from your spinach, you've got healthy fats from your avocado, you've got 2 of your 5 a day in the berries and the apple. And if you want, you could also add in some linseed, which is really good for the digestion, a tablespoon a day. And it has 18 grams of protein in 100 grams and 27 grams of fibre. So really, really great if you want to keep your digestion moving and avoid any issues there. Now, for the liquid, you can use milk, you can use water, or in this case, I'm just using almond milk. Now, the reason I'm using almond milk is because many people think that almond milk is superior to milk. But if you have a look at the back, you'll see that there's only about 2% almond in almond milk. So again, just be careful with reading labels and making sure you know what you're actually taking in, because this is in no way superior to cow's milk. But again, for a lot of people, if they can't manage lactose, the sugar in milk, it is a good alternative. Okay, so we're just going to put a little bit more in there. So again, you could have these ingredients ready the night before. So you're just blitzing them in the morning. But I wouldn't recommend blitzing them the night before and then drinking it in the morning. Otherwise, all the fibre is going to come to the top and it's not going to be too appealing. Okay, so give me 2 seconds, just going to do a bit of blitz, 30 seconds, and then we're good to go. Okay, so you can see we're good to go. You wouldn't even know there's spinach in here. So for anyone who does have kids, or maybe you're just not a fan of vegetables yourself, this is a great way to sneak veggies in, okay? So I would also recommend getting yourself like a cute little jar. We're very finicky as people. We like kind of like things that make us want to eat things. So in this case, this little jar, you could just bring this to your desk and have it as a breakfast on the go, and you can leave this in the fridge for later on in the day. So why is this superior to a juice? There's not really much comparison. So if we're having juice, we're taking in essentially pure sugar, very few nutrients, whereas when we're taking in a homemade smoothie, we're literally giving our bodies the best chance to boost their energy, because you're giving all of the essential nutrients in one go in this drink. Now, we are going to fly along onto a lunch. So I'm just going to clear up a few things here. And one of the biggest things I want to get across in today's demo is that preparing food from scratch doesn't have to be time consuming. So, for instance, many people would reach for lunches such as this. Now, again, not demonizing it. There's nothing wrong with this lunch. However, it only has 0.5 grams of fibre per 100 grams. So we're looking for more than 6 grams of fibre per 100 grams to keep us feeling full. Are you going to be full after this? Look at the size of it. Absolutely not. So we're going to look at a couscous salad as an alternative. So I'm just going to grab the ingredients so I can show you exactly what goes into it. Now, I did cheat a little bit with this one, and I prepared the couscous this morning because I tend to talk a lot and run out of time, and I wanted to make sure that you have an alternative for every meal after today's demo. Okay, so when you are in the recipes, it's the healthy couscous salad. This is perfect to bring along to things like barbecues, or even if you're just looking to make a lunch that's going to do you for a couple of days. I make this literally all of the time. So what you do is you get a bag of couscous. This has 5 grams of fibre per 100 grams, so it's going to keep you nice and full. We do not want to skip carbohydrate at lunchtime, otherwise we might end up craving that bar chocolate in the afternoon. Sound familiar? I think so. So what I did was I put 100 grams of couscous in here, and then I blended water with a chicken stock cube. Equal amounts of water, equal amounts of couscous. And I just put the water in on top of the couscous, and I covered with the plate, so there's literally no prep needed. The couscous absorbed all of the liquid. So you can see it's ready to go there. So all I'm going to do now is give it a little bit more flavour. So let me just grab a spoon. So this is our carbohydrate, and this is what gives us energy. One thing I'm seeing a lot of, now I'm just breaking this up. What I'm seeing a lot of is people skipping carbohydrate at meals. And the reason that's not a good idea is that carbohydrate gives glucose to the brain. So it's your direct energy source to the brain. Now, if you're not eating carbohydrate, you're going to feel a little bit drained. You might feel a little bit fatigued. And I definitely feel it. I'm like, give me sugar. So this is a slow release sugar, whereas if you skip your slow release sugars, your body's definitely going to be craving a quick release sugar. So that's when we get the urge for biscuits or chocolate or something like that after our meals, okay? So we're just going to break up the couscous, and this would do for multiple days. So the idea with healthy eating is to bulk up our meals with other ingredients, so we're not just eating a big plate of carbs. If you were just eat a big plate of carbohydrate, you're going to end up with that big sugar spike and the big sugar dip. Now, I'm going to squeeze some lemon over this. So the idea here is you can see I'm reusing some of the same ingredients. So lemon was in the smoothie, lemon is now in the lunch. We don't want to be buying a ton of different ingredients. Like, there's so many recipe books out there where you are literally buying 20 ingredients per recipe. None of the recipes use the same ingredients, so that can be really expensive. I know I was trying out a new recipe recently, and it was something like 40 quid for the ingredients. It's very off-putting. So with these meals today, it's about using the same ingredients over and over again, and you'll see that when you check out the recipe book. What we're going to do, you might be more familiar with this for mojitos, but we're going to add in a little bit of mint. Now, I have already given these a wash, so all I'm doing is grabbing some of the leaves, okay, and I'm just going to literally break them up. So make sure you've well sanitized hands. That's important to note. So washing your hands, particularly in these times, is, I think, goes without saying, but just to get a little bit of a reminder there. So just going to mix that in. I can already smell it. It smells delicious. So I've got 2 different types of peppers prepared here. So I've got red peppers, we're just going to dump them in, and yellow peppers. The idea being is we want to add colour to our food using vegetables, because often we don't, and it looks really boring. Okay? So you can see that's already starting to look really appealing. But now I'm going to put in some chopped almonds to give it a little bit of a kick. So again, I'm not really looking at the recipe. I've done this a million times. But in the beginning, you might want to start with just a few. See if you like it, rather than putting in too much and not liking it, okay? Now, in here, we've got our veggies, our carbohydrate, but we're missing our protein. So what I'm going to add in is a washed can of chickpeas. Do make sure to wash these, otherwise you might get some digestive discomfort, to put it mildly. So, and then we're just going to dump these in here as well. So a can of chickpeas has 20 grams of protein, and it's also an amazing source of fibre. So it's really, really great for keeping you full. And now so you can see there's no way now you could eat all of that for one meal, whereas before it would have been really easy to kind of eat a whole plate of that couscous. So we want to bulk up our meals with vegetables, with chickpeas, kidney beans, lentils, things like that. And we don't want to be just eating big plates of carbohydrate. Otherwise, we can get that spike in our blood sugar levels and not feel so good after, or be craving chocolate after. Okay, so we're just going to put the finishing touches here. On its own, that could be quite bland. So rather than now putting on a sauce, which again has loads of hidden sugar, I'm just going to use natural yogurt. So I'm just going to put a dollop of natural yogurt here on the top. And now for those of you who like it hot, we're going to finish off with a little bit of Tabasco. Okay, so basically that would do you there for a couple of days and you've got tons more left over. So usually if I'm making this, I would make it for a good few days, and then that way you're not making different foods every single day. So guys, when it comes to nutrition, I won't have time to make the energy balls today, but I will say that we have an absolutely fantastic recipe here. Okay, so all we're doing, I'm going to talk you through it because it's very noisy, but we've already made our healthy breakfast, a healthy lunch, and then the next thing would be making a healthy snack so that we're not constantly being driven towards, I'm not demonizing chocolate again. Who doesn't love a bit of chocolate? And one thing I will say is that for anybody who is trying to give up sugary treats or chocolate, what I want you to ask yourself is, can I give these up until the day I die? That sounds very dramatic, but if the answer is no, which I guarantee you it will be, there's no point trying to give it up. It's about trying to work it into your daily diet in a way that you enjoy, but that isn't causing harm to your health. So for instance, in one mini roll, there is 0.8 grams of fiber. So I don't think it would have taken a rocket scientist to know it's not going to fill you up. But also there's 10.7 grams of sugar. So almost 3 cubes of sugar in just, now this is tiny. One tiny mini roll has about 3 cubes of sugar. So imagine if you had your glass of juice in the morning and then you've had this again, that's already nearly 10 cubes of sugar that you've had in the day. Sugar is hidden everywhere. Again, I'm not demonizing it. It's fine to have one, but if we eat one, feel bad, and then eat 10, we're going to have a problem. So with regards to snacks, it's something I'm seeing over and over again at the moment, is that people are having a lot of issues with snacking. One thing I would say is figure out why you're snacking. Are you tired? Are you stressed? Are you emotional? If the answer is yes, see can you fix those issues or meet those needs in a non-food-based way. If you feel bad about having one treat and then you eat 10 because you feel bad, it's important to try not to cut them out and have them incorporated into your daily diet so that you know they're not bad foods or forbidden foods. They're just not foods we eat 10 times a day. And the next thing I would say is that you could find an alternative. So the alternative recipe, which is called the Energy Boosters, I would recommend everyone to try these out. They're really fun. So what you would do, we're going to go for natural ingredients. We're going to blitz the pecans, which are full of healthy fats, full of fiber. So there's 4.7 grams of fiber in the pecans in 100 grams, so really good source of fiber. We'd add in the dates, so dried fruit. In here, you've got 4 grams of fiber per 100 grams. And then we're going to mix it with orange as our liquid and peanut butter to combine the ingredients. You simply just blitz them in here for a couple of minutes and then roll them into balls. And then you could put the treats in the fridge or in the freezer so you always have something healthy at hand for when you need it. So looking like a bomb exploded here at the moment, excuse the mess, but this is the reality of food preparation. Try not to be this perfect Jamie Oliver. We're not all chefs, but it's about making small changes to your food so that your health doesn't pay the price for the convenience of convenience food short term. So convenience food, it is convenient. But when you're just eating convenience foods for breakfast, lunch, dinner for months on end, you could be putting yourself at risk of nutritional deficiency. So many of the people I've been seeing aren't taking in enough protein. They could be deficient in iron. So remembering that we eat food to give us these nutrients, but also when we're snacking constantly, we're disrupting our blood sugar level, and that can leave our mood disrupted and our energy disrupted. So it's not about trying to be perfect. It's about trying to get a little bit more balance. It's about trying to add in more veggies. It's about trying to get your healthy fats. Did you know your brain is 60% fat? Fun fact. So it's very, very important that we are giving our brain the healthy fats that are needed for it to function at its best. So my advice for you to take away today would be to stop thinking about protein for gaining muscles or cut out carbs because it causes weight gain. Try to start thinking about nutrients that you're taking in. You are a machine, a very, very complicated machine. Now, you're obviously not a machine, but just as a good analogy. So the idea really is that we need fruits and vegetables to give us vitamins and minerals to function efficiently. We need protein for the production of enzymes and antibodies before we even start talking about like your muscle. That's the last priority for protein, if I'm perfectly honest. Shiny hair does not come before the production of enzymes and hormones. So we need to kind of get back to basics about why do we take in food. Healthy fats needed so again, your healthy fats you're going to be getting from your nuts, you're going to get it from your seeds, and you're going to get it from your avocado. So putting them into your diet will help to not only make you feel fuller, so you're less likely to be snacking constantly, but also it forms part of the brain structure. So it's very, very important for our mental health to be taking in healthy fats. The nerves, they communicate to each other, and fats form part of the protective layer. So really, really, really important. It's okay to have a couple of days in the week where you're just fed up and you just don't have time and the kids are driving you mad and you got called into work and everything's upside down and you just want to grab a convenience meal. But it's about understanding that that's okay once in a while, but try not to do it every day. So I hope you enjoyed today's demo. We're going to finish up there. I really do hope you try out some of the recipes. They'll be uploaded later. There's a smoothie in there, energy boosters, overnight oats. There's far more for you to try out. And prioritize your health, prioritize your energy, and best of luck over the next coming months. Thank you.